Alright everyone, Joshua Kirk here with you once again, and now it's time for part 5 of my vinyl collection as of 2016, which, we got one last M, and then we'll move on from the N's and stuff like that from there. And for these next few videos, I'm going to have quite a few, new releases to show in here that I got over the summer that, I'd like to show and stuff like that. So, anyway, let's just get right to it. This one I got at Ka-Chunk, my local record store in Annapolis. My Morning Jackets, The Tennessee Fire. This is their debut album. Not their best record, but, there are some good songs on here. This sort of, had the more kind of alt-country aesthetic that the band used to have back on their first two records, but then starting with It Still Moves, they eventually went in the more rock-leaning direction. Haven't talked too much about My Morning Jacket on this channel, but they are one of my favorite, indie bands, It Still Moves, At Dawn, and especially Z are, my three favorite albums of theirs. This does sound really good on vinyl. It's a little more lo-fi. And inside of here, these are supposed to be lyrics, but they're more like liner notes, stuff like that, A little confusing, but yeah. And released on Dorla Records. There's the first vinyl. Yeah, kind of a blurry album cover on there. And then there's the other vinyl. And is there a download code in this? We'll have to see. Yeah, there is. Alright. Here's, this is a download card for the album. Yeah, this album was originally released back in 1999. So yeah, that's the debut album from My Morning Jacket, called The Tennessee Fire. Yeah. Pretty good album. And the next one that I got is the only national album that I have on vinyl, but it is one of my favorites in their discography, Alligator. I would say my personal favorite album in this band's discography would have to be Boxer, but this one's pretty much a close second. This is a really good album. Released in 2005 on a Beggar's Banquet. And, pretty straightforward packaging. Nothing too special here. There's the liner notes and the back there, and but the vinyl color that it's in is really cool. It's on a yellowish green vinyl, which I think is pretty awesome. One of the few colored vinyls that I have. I don't have a whole lot of these. I don't necessarily have to have these or anything like that, but they are cool. And so yeah, I was pretty lucky to get a colored vinyl of this at Ka-Chunk, instead of just the regular black vinyl. And then there's a download card there. Put this back in here. Yeah, and this is the first album by The National that really started to give them some, widespread acclaim and stuff like that, as opposed to the first two records, which, weren't really, overly, that didn't really get a whole lot of, attention. But, Alligator's fantastic album, I think just the band has, progressed more and more with pretty much each record, from this to Boxer to High Violet to the Grammy-nominated Trouble Will Find Me, which was one of my favorite records of 2013, for sure, just like for most people on their list. And next, we got an indie classic here. All you indie fanatics, y'all know and love this one. This is Neutral Milk Hotels in the Aeroplane Over the Sea. Did a classics review for this. This one pretty much doesn't need an introduction at this point. It's such a solid record. I just love this album so dearly. One of my favorite records of all time. And, I mean, just, I love it more than my review suggests I do. I originally had this on CD, but I just love this album so much, I had to get it on vinyl. I got this at a concert that they played at Merriweather Post Pavilion in Columbia, which was an awesome show, by the way. They had a short little reunion. They're now pretty much on a definite breakup now. It's unfortunate, but, it really isn't too much of a big deal. I mean, considering that, I don't need another album from this band. I mean, this record, along with their debut on Avery Island, that's good enough for me. There's lyrics and liner notes and, yeah, of course, Neutral Milk Hotel. Yeah. This is pretty much one of the most seminal underground rock albums out there. Maybe not really rock. It's like a mix of, like, folk, and it's like, it's like some pretty kind of lo-fi sort of, indie rock / folk and stuff like that, with a lot of just very weird and very sort of wacky instruments, like singing song, horns and accordion and air organ and bagpipes and stuff like that. Yeah, there's what the vinyl looks like. Of course, if you're an indie rock fan and you haven't listened to this record, you've pretty much been living under a rock. And of course, there's a download card from Merge Records for the record. Yeah, you pretty much can't go wrong with this album. Totally a classic. Yeah. The vinyl plastic's always a little touchy. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but, it is what it is. Yeah. Pain in the butt. About as good as it'll get, but yeah, still great album. And it sounds just fantastic on record. This next one I have, this is a record that I used to like, but now I don't really care for it, but I still do have it. It's I'm not gonna show it to you guys, but this is Conor Oberst and the Mystic Valley Band, One of My Kind. Haven't really been, not really into much of the stuff Conor did after the fantastic 2005 Bright Eyes album, Wide Awake It's Morning, which I did a review for a few years ago. It is a great album, which, you know, I'm Wide Awake is, of course, a great record, just like some of the older Bright Eyes, like Beavers and Mirrors, or Lifted, which is probably my personal favorite in their discography. But, like, yeah, stuff like that. I mean, you know, I do have a review for Upside Down Mountain, and I did give it a positive review, but unfortunately, I don't really stand by the review anymore, because I actually, you know, don't really care for the album. Although I gave it a positive review, you know, I'm not that into it, to be honest. But yeah, opinions change. It happens. But I do love this next album we're going to show you here, and this is from Bloodshot Records, and you know, you know, definitely one of the best records that they've put out on there. The deluxe vinyl here of, this is the old 97s, Wreck Your Life, and then some. Yeah, this is like Wreck Your Life, easily one of the best old 97s records, alongside the classic, the one all their fans probably hail as their best, Too Far to Care. Their latest record, Most Messed Up, I think is one of their most consistent in a while. Great record. I reviewed it when it came out, actually. This is what the vinyl package looks like. Basically, it has the whole Wreck Your Life record on vinyl, as well as some extra tracks, like all their Bloodshot recordings from, like, compilations like Extra Tracks, as well as single-only tracks like Crying Drunk and, you know, Eyes for You and stuff like that, as well as a cover of the Robbie Folk song I'd Be Lonesome, which is featured on the For a Decade of Sin 10 Years of Bloodshot Records compilation. There's the inside, like, info about, like, the album, as well as, like, of course, pictures of the band performing live. Yeah, this album was originally released back in 1995, although most sites on the internet suggest it was released in 1996. Yeah, this is what the vinyl looks like. Yeah, this was released somewhere in 2009. Then there's the other vinyl, which has all the extra tracks. The other one has the actual record on it, which I did listen to it on vinyl. Definitely a great record to have on vinyl. Yeah, I originally had it on CD. Yeah. So yeah, and I reviewed Wreck Your Life as like a little throwback review, so that should prove how much I really like the record. Yeah, so if you're new to the old 97s, I recommend checking that out, or Too Far to Care, stuff like that. I have a couple of Radiohead records on vinyl. I do have Kid A, but it's in another box that I'll show in another video. But anyway, I'll show the two that I have here for this video. These are two pretty heavy, big records here. This is Hail to the Thief. I reviewed this last year. Not their best album, but still got some really good tracks on here, like Backdrifts, or 2 + 2 = 5, and stuff like that. And They're There. This is the album with They're There on it, and some pretty crazy kind of artwork, which may, induce some paranoia for really sensitive people. But, it's kind of Radiohead's intention. There are the credits there. Yeah, there's the first vinyl. Second one. And Bloodshot sent me the Break Your Life vinyl. This one I got a chunk for the Radiohead Hail to the Thief record. Like, you know, I heard that the artwork is supposed to, like, sort of channel, like, you know, Hollywood a little bit, as this record was recorded at a legendary Ocean Way recording studios in Los Angeles, where some artists like Beck have, like you know, Nigel Godrich basically took him there to record this record, where Beck had recorded, where he had produced several Beck albums as well. Okay, and here are the lyrics. More pretty crazy artwork on this. And then there's the other vinyl. Over 14 songs on it. One of the longest albums in their discography. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, it's Hail to the Thief by Radiohead. Yeah, this next one that I have from Radiohead, I actually recently got at Barnes & Noble. You know, a record that I absolutely love from 2016, that totally lived up to my excitement for it, which I'm extremely happy about. I got Radiohead's new record, A Moon-Shaped Pool. Got it on vinyl. I know this record isn't necessarily an open room album. It's meant to be listened to on headphones for the most part, considering how melancholy and considering how kind of, you know, low-key this album is, and considering how it's one of the softer records in Radiohead's already pretty prolific discography. But still, I had to get it. I couldn't help myself, because I love this album a lot. Like, I changed my score literally to an 8.5. I mean, just look at the description for my review. I gave it an 8, but I upgraded it maybe a little bit of a notch up, you know, to an 8.5, because I just connected with this album and so much in a lot of ways. Plus, the artwork looks so beautiful on that big vinyl format. And look at this. Whoa. Whoa, that is really cool. Of course, got some of the artwork, not too many interesting things going on with the packaging, but at least I got the record. Yeah. Yeah, there's a download card in this. Yep. So yeah, and then there's like the other vinyl. Radiohead's been known to put like not just one but two like LPs into their vinyl records. Yeah. But yeah, really, highly recommend this album if you're a Radiohead fan. So glad that after a pretty underwhelming sort of previous record, they came back with a vengeance here. I mean, you know, this record, it's not going to appeal to everyone. There's a few that say it's boring and stuff like that, but personally, I loved this record. I mean, every song except for Tinker Tailor, I think is fantastic. So moving. Yeah, this is one that, you know, it's kind of a strange, kind of independent one that I got sent to me by someone from, I think it was like someone from London or something like that, but this is like an EP right here, Scriber, Every Particle. Yeah, I did listen to this once, some pretty interesting stuff. Alright, that's what the record looks like. On Rocking Chair Records. Yeah. I don't see a download card in there. But yeah, it really doesn't matter to me because I don't use download cards. Here's another new one that I really liked. I got this at a record store in State College, Pennsylvania, called the Music Underground. You have to go down some stairs to go down there, but it's worth it. They got a pretty cool selection of records here. But this is another album from 2016 that I loved. Segall, Emotional Mugger. Yeah. This is Segall with Emotional Mugger. I'm new to the guy, but you know, it makes sense because he's one of the most prolific musical figures today. He's put out so many records, and you know, so yeah, he's a pretty busy guy. But still, I did enjoy this album a lot. You know, definitely one of my favorite like garage and psych rock albums of the year. So this album is totally crazy and wild and really fuzzy, really lo-fi, but still at the same time very, you know, kick-ass and esoteric and clever and pretty enjoyable and experimental too. One of his more experimental efforts. Yeah. There's right. There's side A and then there's side B. Yeah, released on Drag City Records. You know, not too familiar with a lot of stuff on their roster. Yeah. And another new one, another 2016 record that I have on CD, but had to get it on vinyl because I love this album. Got it at a record store called Desolation Row Records in Pittsburgh, which is right inside the, like, Caliban bookshop or whatever it's called. Sturgill Simpson's A Sailor's Guide to Earth. Man, this is probably one of my favorite alt-country, one of my favorite, contemporary alt-country records of the year. Yeah, I had to get this one on vinyl. I've totally upgraded my thoughts on this, you know, from an 8 to a 9 since I reviewed it. I mean, if you look in the description, I've changed the score to an 8 and mentioned that, you know, and also changed my least favorite to All Around You, because now Brace for Impact is actually a great song on here. And there's like the pirate ship wheel, and then there's the lyrics. And there's side 1, and then there's side 2. Yeah. And then there is a CD in here, which I already have the CD for this album. Is there a download card in this? No, it doesn't look like it. And looks like we're going to stop there for part 5, because we're just about at 25 minutes now. Okay. Okay. Let me speed this up. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for part 5 of my vinyl collection as of 2016. Okay. And I'll see you for part 6.